the guitar trade. I worked at National Guitars and National Resophonic in San Luis Obispo, California. And then a little time after, I came knocking on Bill's door, and you know, he hired me. I'm a good repairman and I cut a good bridge, but I wouldn't consider myself a maker until I can do it more. But I am trained, and I'm always tinkering at home with guitar stuff and violin stuff. And right now, I'm working on winding my own pickups and coming up with my own pickup, electric guitar pickup, just for fun. See how it sounds. That's our cutaway. It was actually a playing professional level instrument. This you get a good view of the internals of this is a viola in this case. You know, so this is the bass bar, which adds support under the bridge, but also transmits vibrations up and down the plate. And this post is not exactly in the right spot, but the mathematics behind it, it's supposed to be equidistant on the opposite side of the bass bar, adding support under the bridge and transmitting the vibrations to the back plate, which is the resonator plate, as I like to call it. In a way, it's nice to think about the violin as just think of it as a speaker, really. I mean, in its simplest forms, the spruce plate is the sort of a magnet driving your stereo speaker. It's the strings and the bow driving that plate. The sound post connecting it to the back and reflecting the hard maple back plate, reflecting the sound out through the sound holes. You can see we've got an army of cellos ready to march. All our makers. Let's see, Gary Garavaglia, Ronek Sizin, Peter Stasel, Mietek, Rusnak. Tan Kim is here represented. But you know what? We should go back and catch them while they're working because it's almost quitting time. There's a bass by Gary Garavaglia. Now we're going to head into the workshop. This is the repair, restoration, and setup department. It's kind of the tail end of the process from our makers to the customer, or musician, or would-be purchaser. Let me step over here. Basically, we'll get our instruments from the makers. Here's a viola by Peter Stasel, who you will meet in a moment. It comes to us from the makers, basically varnished with a roughed out fingerboard, roughed out nut, no pegs. No end button hole, no sound post, no bridge. And we do a professional setup in this department, and that is basically everything that the string player interacts with, the finite measurements, the strings, is there a buzz, do the pegs work, how's it sound. Also we do repair and restoration. When you open these things up, it's like a little bit of archaeology. You see there's the original brand, Bousseau. Also one up here, that's the original maker. And then here's a repair signature from 1851 by somebody named Noble. I don't know what work he did, whether he did some of the good work or the bad work. But anyway, this was opened in 1851, for sure. It's got what's called a doubled edge, not done very well, but basically that outer edge, the instrument has been opened up so much that it wore out the edge of the plate, and they put in another edge. We'll actually redo that. Here's Peter Stasel. He's actually making a new top for this cello that was injured, damaged. I think it was an airport injury. You can see it's right there at an early stage where he's put in the purfling and done the rough arching. And then he'll finish this outside arching and then graduate and tune. Everything is tuned, and I told this woman, I was like, don't worry about it. You're going to get a new top, no loss of value on the instrument. It's still going to be a Peter Stasel, and it's going to be good as new, basically. Cracks like that can be repaired if it was an antique instrument, but it's a lot of work. We could make it sound good. That does happen sometimes where we have to do repairs like that. But since the maker is here, it's better to have him make a new top. Like I said, no loss of value on the instrument, and it's a Peter Stossel. They're about to button up a cello. It's a great high arch pattern. You said it's Montagnana?
No.
Grancino model. Yeah, sorry. It's got a really high arching. This is two-piece American maple. Great tone, looks great under varnish. In fact, on the way out, I'll show you one he just finished in the showroom. As you can see, the back plate is not glued on yet. This is the interior form. All the whole family, the violin family of instruments, from violin, viola, cello, even bass, in the Italian way, use an inside mold that stays in till the very end, and that it'll collapse and come out. Now what that's for is basically these ribs are not glued to the form, the blocks are. You see these blocks are glued, temporarily glued. We'll knock them out when we're done. And subsequently the corners are shaped, and once the corners are shaped and the ribs are glued on, that is your instrument. That's what it's going to look like. You're going to add a margin, the violin edge, as some people call it. But once you set those corners, that's what your instrument's going to look like. This will allow the rib cage, the rib assembly, we call it the rib cage, a lot of anatomical language in this trade. This can sit around without moving around and changing humidity or temperature or whatnot until it's ready to be completely glued up, and then it'll pop. These are unbolted and they're popped out, and the whole form comes out. Now you see this is the outside arch is done on this, and he'll graduate the inside and tune it, flex it, get it to the where he thinks Bronek right there. It's going to sound the best. He's working on a viola top plate, doing the edge work before the purfling goes in. He's got the rough arch. Yacek's actually putting in purfling on the back plate. Purfling is actually inlaid. There's a groove, a squared groove. And it's actually inlaid into the instrument, and it's decorative, but it's also protective. If this instrument receives a knock, especially on the spruce, clunk, spruce likes to split. It will crack from there to there instead of the length of the top. But it also looks great. And the corners are another signature of makers. Corners and scrolls and arching, and but that's one thing that identifies makers. The joint of the purfling at the C-bout. You see, this is just in a rough stage, but the purfling will be inlaid, and then the outer arch refined, and then again graduate the inside, get the flexibility.
What I'm seeing here, especially the ribs was broken here. You can see more clearly here on the outside, so it's a lot of cracks on the ribs, and every crack have to be clean and glued back together. And this is like old repair here. Somebody repaired the broken rib without opening the top, just drill 2 holes here, insert this piece of wood and pull it. This is gut string here, so it's really old.
Yeah.
Oh, the label says 7002, but that's not the original label. You can see here the white spot here. That means the old label was here previously. But
It's probably early
condition
1800s.
condition on this show is like 1800s.
Yeah. Like I said, labels are often changed, and we never look at the labels for identification. Eventually we look at the labels, but
Previously in my country I was swim coach. That was my original profession there. And then I discovered that I like much more making violins and repairing than doing something else. That's why I'm here.
We are in the Fine Arts Building in Chicago, Illinois, my hometown. If you look out here, you can see our beautiful park. You can see the, Shedd Aquarium, Field Museum, Adler Planetarium, Buckingham Fountain, which is not on, which is a shame. But the Fine Arts Building is an astounding building. It's amazing. It was originally the Studebaker building. They used to build wagons here, coaches and whatnot. And then almost immediately they outgrew it and turned it into a space for artists. I think they did that in like 1893. The building was built before then. I can't remember the exact date, but it's been an artist building for 100 years, 100 plus years. And Bill has been here 25 years, I think. Actually was in the annex. We just moved to this space about 2 years ago. We are at 410 South Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Look for the Fine Arts Building.
You don't have to use words in music. You can just express your feelings with music. And if you go to Spain, you don't speak Spanish, then you won't be able to talk to people, but you can just express with music. Because music, language of the music, I guess everybody can understand.
Beautiful. American maple. I'm really proud that we use. We'll use European maple. It's just another color in your palette. But I'm real happy we use a lot of American maple because it just looks great. You can get bigger pieces. This is one piece slab cut. This one's not so figured, but even the plain stuff looks cool. And it sounds great. It's got this great, dark, rich, velvety. I don't know. You can. It's like describing wine. You can add all kinds of chocolatey, velvety. So the cello spin, right? So.